I am Jean. I'm a person with Parkinson's disease. For my sins, you can see this is going. So I thought this is something new for me. I thought I would run you through some kind of exercises to kind of show you what we kind of feel when we're living with Parkinson's. So you've got gloves, unless you're allergic to latex, both gloves on your non-dominant hand. 2 gloves to make it harder for you to do the things that you're going to do, because life is hard when you've got Parkinson's disease. So some of the things I'm going to talk as you put them on. I've got a couple of wallets here. I'm going to ask you to get 38 cents out of here, and then you'll have a little sympathy when you get behind me when I'm in line at the grocery store. We have one of the things that here we've got, like, they're simulated credit cards, and they are pasted together. But what I want you to do is pull them out of the wallet. Not actually pull them apart, but try to pull them apart, because that's how it feels to us. It feels like we're stuck together, even when they're not. So again, we're struggling to make sure both pair go on. And this is another one with 38 cents. So we've got one for the credit cards. I'll put both of them over here. 2 for the change. Okay, over here. We have the famous dragging a foot, and I've got these rather large shoes, and I don't want you to put your feet into somebody else's shoes. So I brought these clean socks. What I'll ask you to do is have a seat on your non-dominant leg, or whichever one you don't kick the soccer ball with. Put on a sock, put on a clean sock, put the shoe on, and then just take a walk. And because the shoe will be too big and will sort of cause you to drag your foot, I naturally do that. I trip and fall, I broke my arm, I've done some other damage to myself. Once you've done this, just walk to the door and back. Take out the sock and put it in the worn sock bag. So, nobody wants to put their foot into somebody else's shoe. Okay. All right, here we've got pants. Now when I put on a pair of pants, my leg always gets stuck. And I'm frequently standing and I normally fall over. So please do not be standing when you do this. Now, what I have actually done is sewn the pant legs. But when your foot gets stuck down there, about 3/4 of the way through down, that's what happens to me every single day. And sometimes I get both legs in the same pant leg. But once it gets stuck, just to show you how that feels. You don't have to do both legs, whichever is, your non-soccer ball kicking leg. Just try to put it in a pant leg. So we've got that, we've done that. Oh, and we've got some dimes around it. I'm going to ask you just to try to pick up the dimes with the hand that's got the 2 pair of gloves on, just to see what it feels like. Okay. In this corner, we have the simulated eating corner. And just to show you, when I try and cut meat, and I frequently ask people to cut it for me, it feels like I'm cutting this belt with plastic utensils. It's really difficult for me. You can't have any pride. It's really stupid. This is what I live with. And so, anyway, so all I'm going to ask you to do is just kind of do this a couple of times, just to get the feeling. And the other thing is, there are a couple other things going on. Over here, I'm going to ask you to work with another person, because we've actually got water and some spoons. And would you mind demoing it with me? Oh, yeah, I did like all in water. I'm going to ask somebody to gently jiggle the arm. So what I'm going to do for this young man is, I'm going to jiggle his arm. I'm going to do it like this. And I'm going to ask him to drag and pick up scoop some water out and see how it feels to try and eat soup. So that's all I'm going to do. Now, if you actually go through and do all these things that are on your list, and there's somebody that, you can sit with a cup, I'm going to just grab your hand and just gently around the wrist, jiggle it a little bit. If you've got time, hold your cell phone. Try and text anything. It's either hard to hold it and text, or it's hard to, you know what I mean? The hand's moving and the cell phone isn't, or the cell phone's moving and the hand isn't. So we've got a lot of things going on. So is everybody kind of get the idea of what I'm asking you to do? Oh, and there's one other thing. The ever-popular bladder urgency. At some point, I'm just going to make a noise and ask, like, This have the room to just get up, stop what they're doing, get up and just step outside and then come back in. But if that's going to simulate, oh my God, I've had a bladder urgency moment, I've got to get to a bathroom right now, okay? All right, do you want to, should we go ahead and start?
Okay, so
Would take your list, check them off as you do it, and if you need any help or guidance, I'll be around to simulate jiggling your arm if you like. Got any questions? Non-dominant side. So it may, which, anybody pick left footed? Right, I shouldn't say, no, which one of you? We've got a few people in this corner, and you can some spoons, we've got pants that can be tried on. You have to get the wallet, that's the wallet with the credit cards in it. Yeah. It's kind of, for me, well, I wasn't at club that you drag your foot and kind of rock like that, so I was looking at something like that. Do you want to come over here? There's nobody here. Yeah, this is the, it's got the simulated credit cards in it. You have to pull out and try and get apart.
I have small feet too, so it's not
Okay.
like awesome.
Yeah. No. This is gonna give the real effect. Well, then just walk, if you walk this way, it sort of gives you the, when I walk like this and sort of drag my foot, you can does it sort of give you that feeling?
Yeah.
Trying to keep it on? Okay. Good.
But I'll hold it all awkward.
Okay, but at least it shows, you start having balance problems
Yeah.
on one side.
only on one side?
It starts on one side. And when you drag your foot, you know, I've tripped on a crack and fallen and broken my arm, so. I know.
What about running? Is that possible?
Probably, I think if you were fit beforehand, which
Okay.
I wasn't. I'm a couch potato, you know. So I think if you're fit to begin with, you know, we've got people who still run marathons.
Okay.
So yeah, stay fit. Well, thank you for that.
It's not hard putting on this year.
Yeah, see, and it's hard putting on the show. So there are other lessons here. Be sure to put used socks in the pink bag. Everybody at the cutting table, step outside. You're having one of those bladder urgency moments. And then you can, after you go out, you can come right back in. Okay, thank you. Unless you really have a bladder urgency moment, then you go to the bathroom.
That's a super annoying feeling for sure.
Huh?
That's super annoying to get stuck.
It is, you don't know. And usually I'm standing and then I topple over or into something. So it's just, it makes no sense. They're a little too big trying to shuffle. Sometimes we talk about people with Parkinson's shuffling. Yeah, that's really the movement I was thinking like. That's kind of dragging muscle up.
People will just avoid even. I don't think that takes like that when they are.
Yeah. It's tough.
As long as I cut it.
I know, it's like, that's okay.
I would just pick it up with my hand.
Yeah, well,
Make bites out of it.
I know. Well, I'll actually turn to the person next to me and say, well, I'm assuming I know them. You know, would you mind picking my knee for me? As far as this goes, if anybody. Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to, trying to cut your meat all night, I have spoken
Into
to
the idea.
some people with Parkinson's when I asked them if they had difficulty with the ERS. One guy turned to me and said, I would crawl rather than accept help walking.
Well, we're all different.
Huge range of people.
There is a huge range. People with Parkinson's also freeze. And so they frequently freeze more advanced than I am. But they'll frequently freeze at entries to elevators, escalators, on, off, entering. I've known people get stuck in bathroom stalls at the end of the day, and then they were all alone and couldn't get out. Seriously. So if they get stuck, it's like feeling that your feet are frozen to the floor. And so then you feel like you're going to fall. And actually, I've got some friends who say what they will do is drop, I don't really want to because I've got a bad knee, and crawl. Some people can actually walk backwards when they can't walk forward. So occasionally you may be behind somebody who suddenly freezes. They may have Parkinson's disease, and that's a problem. So there are certainly...
Nothing you can do to help them, like as an outsider?
You don't push them.
No.
Please don't push them. No. Well, maybe. Actually, I don't know. That's a good question. I hadn't thought of that. Maybe I would touch them on the arm and say, "May I help them in some way?" And maybe that will distract them because it's in the brain, but it's still a physical manifestation that we can't overcome. You know, it's just.
There are a number of tricks for overcome freezing. They don't work with everyone. But one of the ones that is more common for helping people is actually if you change the task, just like you said, stepping backwards, then sometimes that helps. And one of the things is providing an obstacle so somebody can step over the obstacle, because that changes the task. It forces higher lifting of the foot. And that can get some people unstuck. It won't work with everyone.
There are some canes that actually either have the laser light that they can press and then step over that, so it's exactly what Jen was saying, the obstacle. And then some would actually have a little, it's a mechanical thing, just a little stick that will come out, and then again it gives them something to step over. And I can't remember the other tricks people have said, but absolutely.
So it's just changing the task.
That can certainly be part of it. And part of, just dropping to their knees, because if people are prone to fall, they'll just go down to their knees and start crawling.
Have you ever had to resort to that?
I haven't frozen yet, but I know people who have and have told me that these things, this is what they do. So how was it? You can take off those gloves are hot. How was it? Did it sort of, do you remember now? Okay. That's great. So what was your most difficult task? I heard somebody say making the 38 cents change was
Yeah,
the most difficult. I'll tell you, it's awful standing in line. When I get money, I just grab it and stuff it in my purse because if I can get it out. But usually I got a 20 or something. But because people get so, people are in a rush and they get anxious and they get rude, and so I just stick it in. And I don't normally make change, so that's why. You can see how difficult. You can see my hand is shaking. And actually,